Are you ready for rapid fire?
Let's go. It has been a day, Sean Stiers, and I've been waiting for rapid fire.
Tell you what, it's same right here. It was just not a good day. So I'm going to start with a mock question. Over under 25 total touchdowns and over under 10 interceptions for Sam Hartman. So we're doing over unders.
Good question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this first.
Okay.
This is just a yes or a no to you. Is this where you would have set the number for them?
I think interceptions is where I would have set them. Touchdowns, I would have set higher. Probably would have set touchdowns at least at 30, if not even like around 32, I think.
Yep, agreed. And that's kind of where I'm at too. And so if we're sticking with the 25, I'm going to go over.
Yeah.
Okay. I do think that. And I think 32 and a half, I think that's a really good number. That's where I really start thinking hard about maybe where they're going to be. So I'll take the over there. The interception thing is interesting. And just so it's not a push, we can put it at like 9.5. I was thinking that it probably, I feel like it was going to be right around 10. And that's only because I think he's going to try to jam it into a couple of windows, or he's going to take some chances and going to take some shots. And we've been begging for that for years. And there are drawbacks to that. And I think there's going to be a few picks. And so if I'm setting it at 9.5, I will reluctantly go over because I think he's probably going to be right at 10.
Yeah, Derek said over and under. He's got 35 and 9. And my only hesitation with Hartman is like, does Tyler Buckner have a package? Is he a red zone quarterback potentially? Sure. Like when you listen to Gerad Parker and him talking about the strengths and the different skill sets of the quarterbacks and stuff like that, that could potentially take some touchdowns away, obviously, from Hartman, and the strengths of the running backs, could play into that as well. I definitely still like over 25. I think that 9.5, 10 on the interceptions right there is really it's going to be right around there. And like if we're setting it at 9.5, I might just go a little bit over,
okay,
just because.
All
you got to do is look at his stats. How much is this offense in that running game going to change that? And again, we really don't know what this offensive system is going to look like just yet.
Right.
So that'll be a question going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That's I didn't even think about the Tyler Buckner aspect of it. I think that's actually a really smart way to look at it.
There's been a lot of dissecting and analyzing of Gerad Parker's 2 seasons as offensive coordinator at West Virginia. Here's my question. Does it say anything to you that Graham Harrell, who became the Mountaineer offensive coordinator last year after Parker came here to Notre Dame, he spent just 1 season at West Virginia and he's already moved on to Purdue? Does that say anything to you?
I did not realize that this was the case when I was obviously reading through these. It doesn't really say anything to me because I wasn't even aware of it. As I kind of dig a little bit deeper into it, it makes me think that maybe West Virginia is not the greatest place to run an offense. That's for darn sure. Because look, Gerad Parker did not have a lot of success at West Virginia, and I realized he wasn't running his offense; he was running the head coach's offense, and it's still the same head coach, right? That was there,
yes, it
presiding
is,
over Graham Harrell. So that tells me that the head coach probably just needs to make himself the offensive coordinator and stop hiring offensive coordinators because it's not working. And it feels like maybe there's some headbutting that goes on there. And the answer that Gerad Parker gave us at the press conference led me to believe that there's a little bit of headbutting and not the best of, I don't want to say the best of feelings, but
I think you had a micromanager head coach.
Yeah.
And like you said, he was running his system, and it just seems like if Gerad Parker played every bit the diplomat that he could when he answered that question at the press conference the other day about the situation. And it just sounded to me like he was promised some things that weren't followed through on, and some responsibilities weren't there that, he was told were going to be there. And then when you follow that up with a guy like Graham Harrell goes in there and he's only there for 1 year and now he's at Purdue, that just says, and as you said, the head coach is still there. that tells me that, you've worked for some micromanagers before, and
Facts.
yeah. I mean, I think, to me, that's what it sounds like. You
Yeah.
have an over-involved head coach, you're running his system, and it doesn't sound like there's, much internal consistency there. And I think that had as much to do with whatever ups and downs Gerad Parker had when he was at West Virginia as anything.
Yeah. I hadn't even
We've
thought
still got a
about
lot
it.
to prove here at Notre Dame, but that's what it seems like
Oh,
to me. When you look at the whole story,
yes.
the whole track record of where things have been,
And I feel like there are even more question marks to go along with Gerad Parker, because I don't think we saw who Gerad Parker was as an offensive coordinator at West Virginia. So, we're getting hints and we're getting clues and we're getting an idea of maybe what Gerad Parker wants to be, but I don't think it's going to look anything like the offense at West Virginia looked when he was there. So more question marks.
Patrick said, kind of going back to the offense, he says he hopes there's no Tyler Buckner package, just the offense for both Hartman, Buckner, and whoever else. I mean, and I agree with that to an extent, but, and I'm not saying like the Tyler Buckner package like a couple of years ago, like it would look like
Right.
that. But
Right.
like, think about what Tyler Buckner did in the red zone twice in that Gator Bowl. And then you put him in there as not just a guy who's going to go in and run, but a guy who is a definite dual threat to either run or throw. I think that adds a different element to your red zone package compared to a guy like Sam Hartman. That's
Right.
That's what I would envision. Not just a guy who's going to go in and run, but a guy who's a legitimate dual threat.
And he will be running the offense. Like, he's not going to run just a Tyler Buckner package. It's just going to be, hey, when we get inside the 30, we get inside the 20, whatever it happens to be, Tyler Buckner's the quarterback, and then he gets to run the offense. Like, it's not going to be
right
10 plays, pick one out of a bag. Like, I don't think
Exactly.
that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the whole offense.
Yeah.
And either one of them could do it, but it's hard to keep talent on the sidelines, at least in my opinion. I mean, Brian Kelly had no problem with it, but keeping talent on the sidelines is tough, and you want to get those guys on the field. And guess what? At the end of the day, if it helps you win games, Sam Hartman's going to be just fine with it, right? That Tyler Buckner goes in and he does it. Less wear and tear on Sam Hartman for his future, and they're winning ball games. And if that's what they decide to do, then great, because there's going to be an understanding as to why they're doing it.
Lincoln Tebow and Urban Meyer won a national championship, and that was.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's worked before. It's not like it hasn't worked before in the history of college football. Fill in the blank. Mike Brey's last home game as Notre Dame men's basketball coach will be next week when the Irish host Pittsburgh, and it's blank that Notre Dame is currently selling tickets to that game, 2 for $10 in the upper bowl and 2 for $20 in the lower bowl.
First of all, it is cheaper to go to a men's basketball game at the University of Notre Dame than it is to go to your local high school to watch a game. Just putting it out there, okay? It costs $6 to go watch Penn play with future Notre Dame basketball player Marcus Burton.
True.
It costs you $5 to go watch the current Notre Dame team and Mike Brey. I understand why they're doing it. They want to pack the arena.
His last game.
For his last game.
Program's all-time winningest coach and all that. I get
it. I totally get it. Just get up in a hot air balloon and just drop tickets out at that point. Just
you might as well.
Let them fly.
You literally might as well just go hand them out on the street, right?
Are going to be spending more, I feel like, in like ticket charges than you are on the tickets themselves when it comes down to it. If you're ordering them online, that kind of a thing. So, look, I like Mike Brey for the most part. I would love to see his last game have a full house, but even giving tickets away, I just don't see that being the case. And it's ultimately, if you look at the entire body of work from Mike Brey, I feel like it's sad that they're having to do this in order to fill the house for his send-off.
I know. Well, I mean, it doesn't help that it's Pittsburgh. They've got North Carolina tonight. Like, if it would have been Carolina.
At 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Like, thanks, ESPN. Great, because it's going to be nationally. And you know how that works. Speaking of, windows, it'll probably tip off closer to 10 after, because the game before it, I think it's Kentucky and Florida, will probably go long and all. But, like, he deserves he deserves to have as many people there as possible to give him the send out. I completely agree with that. Like, as a guy, everybody loves Mike Brey, but the program is just in bad shape right now. And it's not been fun to watch. There have actually, there have been some competitive games here recently, and like being in those situations ourselves, like coaching in those kind of games where it's like you're in there, but you just
Yeah.
can't pull the
Just can't
trigger
get
and you
over the
just
hump.
can't get over the hump. I mean,
Yes.
those kill you even worse. And
Yeah.
knowing that he's going out the door, that it has to be eating at him even more. He deserves a big send off. I hope they get it. But like, you look at these ticket prices and it just shows you the depths to which this program has fallen, unfortunately.
Man, no kidding. It's sad that they have to do it that way, but I do hope for his sake that they fill it up. I do.
Yeah.
I hope they fill it up. So that's his lasting memory, even though he's going to coach someplace else next year. I hope that he gets the send off that he deserves, because look, he has brought Notre Dame basketball to a place that it certainly couldn't even have dreamt of when he took over.
Yeah.
Right. So he deserves it. But it's sad that they got to go this route, man. It just is.
They should give you a free soft pretzel when you go in the door if you pay those prices too.
So they give you those $15. I don't know. Well, you've obviously been to a million women's games. I don't know if they do it for the women's game.
Yeah, the vouchers for the media.
Yes, you got to go to the concession stand to get your food.
Right.
And $15, that doesn't go too far.
Just saying. The first place I went to, I tried to go to the, to the soft. I'm not even going to say the brand name, but I tried to go to the soft pretzel place, and they don't accept the vouchers because they're a standalone concession.
Yep.
So you've either got to go get the, I don't even know if the other place, like has the stale, like their own pretzels or whatever, but
they got nachos, they got hot dogs, they got popcorn, but
yeah,
$15 doesn't go very far, man, when you're spending like $8 for a Coke. You know what I mean? So it was tough sledding there. I had to make some decisions. I didn't like it.
So ESPN analyst Fran Fraschilla had an interesting tweet the other day. He said, given how well the COVID fifth year of eligibility worked out for college basketball, let's award players who graduate in 4 years an extra season of eligibility. He says it makes the sport stronger, ensures a higher graduation rate and postgraduate opportunities, and combats the one and done teams with NIL cash. So do you buy Fran Fraschilla's proposal, Vince?
I sell it. I don't like it. I didn't like the extra year of eligibility because it just mucks everything up.
That's the biggest problem.
We have guys that are going in their 6th and 7th years because
the roster management just gets so screwed up with this. Yeah, because then if you get injured, yeah, then all of a sudden you've got 6th-year guys.
It's ridiculous.
Or girls, whatever.
Yeah, I know. Take it away. You've got 5 years to play for. That's plenty. That's plenty. And if you're not graduating in that amount of time, you don't get awarded with another year of eligibility. No, absolutely not. I do not like it at all.
The purpose of the whole college, process is, and getting a scholarship is, you're supposed to be both playing and working toward a degree to begin with. So now you're going to give extra incentive for getting your degree. I mean, it's definitely an interesting proposal. And like, just how much did these 5th years help Notre Dame? We all thought, I think, that Notre Dame was going to be better off with all this experience back than what they were. I don't know how it well, I guess he's saying it combats the one and done teams with NIL cash. The only way I think that it would go is like, if you're going to give this inducement at the end, you get your degree in 4 years, and then we'll give you a 5th year to play. It's obviously guys who aren't going on to the NBA, but I would say you've got to stay at the school you're at if you're going to get that.
There you go.
Because then you can't go jump for some NIL deal someplace else.
And that is honestly what this COVID year has done. It has made the transfer portal even more robust.
Yeah, that's right.
Because these guys are using that year to go play somewhere else.
Yep.
I don't think college basketball has won with the extra COVID rule. I don't think it's been good for college basketball. I don't think it's been good for college athletics, period. Because when all these guys decide to stay, it affects all those guys that are coming in. And there's less scholarships to go around for the guys that are leaving high school. And then you've got the transfer portal that's even screwing those guys even more.
Mm-hmm.
No, you did your time. It's time to move on to whatever's next in your life.
I agree. So instant replay during XFL games, they're handling it differently. And I know you watched more XFL over the weekend. So they're handling it differently than NFL or college games. So during the XFL broadcast, they have a camera in the replay booth with the replay official mic'd up so you can actually see and hear what they're looking at. It's a much more transparent process. Do you buy or sell the NFL and or college football following suit and doing the same thing for instant replay process?
Well, first of all, everything about the XFL is more transparent. Like they've got the refs.
There's not as much on the line, there's not as much gambling money. There,
and I get it. And I get it. I mean, but it's all out there. Like you can hear the refs talking about the penalties. You can hear, like you said, the replay official. And there's one replay official. It's Dean Blandino or whatever, however you say his last name. And he is the guy. And he's probably in New York or something. And he's just in a booth. And there's only one XFL game going on at once. So it's much easier to do. Okay. But he handles all the reviews. And he literally, you hear him talking. You hear him going through it, and it's a one-man show. Like, he's looking at it, he's deciding, he's walking you through it verbally, and then he just lets the official know, nope, it's going to stand or it's not going to stand or whatever. I think it's fantastic. It was so much faster, number one, and he was reviewing every single play, by the way, because there was a play in one of the games where they marked it off as a first down, but the guy was a yard shy. And before they were even able to get the play called, he buzzed down and he's like, no, guys, it's 2nd and 1 or whatever it was. And they moved the ball and they just did it. There was no fanfare about it. They didn't have to stop the game. He just let the white hat know, hey, guys, it's 2nd and 1, not 1st and 10. They fixed it immediately. And they finally talked about it like 3 plays later. They're like, oh, wait, it's 3rd down. Like, oh, yeah, well, it was a rolling thing. We're always looking. We're always making sure. Yes, like that was great. They didn't stop the game. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It would be much more difficult to do that in college games because there's so many going on. Are you going to get people that are intelligent enough to talk?
And that's what I was going to say. You've got to have, because there are so many more games, you've got to have, basically, you've got to have kind of a point guy out there, like.
It'd be very tall. It'd be very hard.
It can't be just a good official. It has to be a good combination of an official and a communicator to do this. I think the NFL, because there are 15 games a week top, 16 games a week top, it would be easier there because you also have more retired officials who could, still be a part of this. You already have the replay analysts who are part of the broadcast. Some of them are better than others, but for the guys on the field and the coaches and everybody, it's obviously their livelihood. For everyone else, the people watching for the TV networks, it's a TV show. It's a TV program. So especially in the NFL, I think it would, we were talking about the length of the replays and how long they take to look at these, and you don't really know what they're looking at. One, it would be more transparent, but two, it would definitely make that time go quicker if you were in the booth with that official and you got to hear him explain what he's actually looking at. I think it would benefit everyone because the NFL just seems to operate like there's a cloak of secrecy, like they don't want you to know what they're looking at for some reason.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And they had one guy making the decision in the XFL, right? Have one replay official. He makes the decision. So it's not like a back and forth. It's not like a, what do you think? Because that takes longer. If it's just one guy looking, okay, I'm looking for this. I don't see this. I don't see the hand under the ball. You know what? We're going to let it stand, or we're overturning it. Like, it's so much faster with one track mind. That's it. That can be done in the NFL. It would be a much easier situation to do in the NFL. College is probably still going to be a disaster because they just can't figure out replay anyway.
Yeah.
But with the NFL, they could definitely do it. Definitely do it.
For sure.
I would like it. I would be all on.
Me too. Me too. Be all in.
Tommy Guns just passed my house, by the way. So I'm going to wave. I'm going to
Oh,
symbolically
nice.
wave at Tommy Guns. He was on 8090, which literally goes almost in my backyard.
It
What's up,
does.
Tommy?
Very cool. All right. Safe travels out there, Tommy. I know
That's
the
right.
weather is garbage.
Yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah. Okay. So a report from Andrew Marchand of the New York Post says Apple TV Plus has emerged as a potential landing spot for Pac-12 football TV rights. My question, would being exclusively on a streaming service be better for Apple or the Pac-12?
Man, Apple, I'm going to say, because I don't see how it could possibly be good for the Pac-12. Right now, it's the Pac-12 after dark, right? We're all watching it when we come home from other games or after other games are over, the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason we're watching it, and I guess I'll speak for myself. The only reason I'm watching it is because it's the only thing on, right? There's not a lot of people overall that have Apple TV, Apple Plus, or whatever
Right.
it is. They don't. I don't currently have it right now. I actually got rid of it a couple of months ago because there's nothing to watch on it. I'm sorry, hey, all those Apple Plus fans out there. Ted
Lasso's coming back. Ted Lasso's back next month, I think it is.
And I'll probably re-up at that point because I love that show. But
yes.
there was
We're gonna
nothing
have to start
going
doing
on.
Ted Lasso reviews once it does.
I know, right? I had nothing to watch, and I was paying for it. And my wife was finally like, "Why are we buying this? Why are we paying for this?" And I can tell you right now, my argument is I want to watch Pac-12 football. It's not going to be good enough, and we're not going to get it when Ted Lasso isn't on.
See, and that's like we've got 4 TVs in our house. Only one of them is set up for a streamer because the others, I think, are all a little too old, before the, like the
Sure.
apps and all that kind of stuff. So we've only got one TV, first of all, that is set up for the apps. 2, like you're talking Pac-12 after dark, but like even during the day, like if you're sitting back and you're watching games, I don't know about you, but I'm like, if there are multiple games on at the same time and one of them turns into a stink, like you're flipping around,
Sure,
you know that I do it more than anybody, but like it takes like 5 times as long to flip out of a streaming game and then back to live TV and then back to the streaming game again. You've got to wait for it to rebuffer
or stream
all
to stream because like my ESPN is a stream.
That's true too.
So like you're going from stream to stream, like you're going to miss an entire series trying to do that. Nah.
Yep.
Forget about it.
I agree. Unless they are in the money, it doesn't even sound like they're chasing the Big 12 right now. The Pac-12 is trying to get this TV contract, and they've been kind of left out in the dark. And I don't think that they're going to get. They would have to get much more money than what they're probably going to get to make it worth their while to be exclusively on a streamer. I just think you're going to bury yourself in terms of visibility.
Yeah.
If you're the Pac-12 and you go exclusively to
beginning of the end. Let's be honest. That's how I feel. It's the beginning of the end of them being a Power 5 conference, if that's the case.
For sure. Tommy Guns with a bonus. He got this in before he started driving, I think. Speaking of nights, Sean and Vince, this was at the start of the show when he put this in, so I don't know why nights were a topic of conversation.
Yes, who's speaking of nights?
Early in the show. But he said, if you could be one famous night, any famous night for a year, who would it be and why?
Paul McCartney.
Sir Paul. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. I didn't think about that. I would just go with Phil Knight because he's worth like $50 billion.
You went a different route. I kind of like that. I dig it.
$50 billion, Phil Knight. I would take that for a year.
I dig that. That's well done. I didn't even think about that. I wouldn't mind swimming in that kind of cash.
That's right.
Speaking of Phil Knight, can we talk about this? Are you going to watch the Ben Affleck movie that's going to be coming out here? I think it's just going to call it Air, and it's about them. Nike's fledgling. They get Michael Jordan on board. Boom, they become Nike.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are both going to be in it.
Yes.
Is Affleck supposed to be Phil Knight? Is that who it is?
Yep.
Now, is that a movie? Is it a streamer? Like, is it a TV show? Do you know what it is?
I think it's a movie. I think. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
I think it's a movie too, but I'm not really sure.
Here we go. Let's see here. I don't. Wikipedia is not going to probably help me out too much here, but To be released in the United States by Amazon Studios April 5th. So I don't know if it's going to be on Amazon or if it's going to be wide theatrical release in the United States April 5th.
I'll probably check it out.
I think it looks interesting.
I like Damon and Affleck, and I think it's an interesting story. So just like you said, I mean, because it was that whole deal, like you just said, with Michael Jordan, the whole Air Jordan thing that blew Nike up and let it become what it was.
Yeah, and it was kind of unheard of. Nobody really had their own shoe at the time. Plus, Michael Jordan was a rookie. He'd never even stepped foot on the court for the NBA. And now, obviously he has a whole brand that apparently also does football stuff, which is odd, but whatever. The Jumpman brand. That's my dig on Michigan.
Your favorite one.
It's my dig on Michigan for the day.
Yes.
But no, I think the movie sounds interesting.
I think so too. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for tonight. A lot of good interaction and questions as always. We've got basketball Thursday coming up tomorrow, so no IB Nation Sports Talk tomorrow. Vincent, Jesse, and I will be back on Friday, though, at 5 o'clock with the Rapid Fire Show. So
yes, sir. Live from my office. It'll be fun.
That's right. Hit the like button, subscribe, rate, and review. And in the meantime, we will talk to you Friday on IB Nation Sports Talk.